You know, I hear a lot of talk about how this religion started and how that religion started, how this religion became the most popular, how that religion became the most popular. But you know what I don't hear enough about? How religions end. How do we get ourselves the hell out of this theocratic mess that we seem to find ourselves in currently? So that will be the subject of tonight's Atheist Crew Book Club. In addition, David Blackman will be in the house to discuss Part 3 of our January 6th committees coverage super series big thing they do where all the Trumpletards look dumb on camera. In addition, we're going to talk about the final bits and pieces of Rebecca Davis's interactions with James Apperson All today on the show. Let's get to it.
She got that sweet juice, Minute Maid, some of out that lemonade. Take a sip, blowing purple clouds, taste like lemon haze. Conversations back and forth like damn, we could go on for days. Looking back at it like damn, she bad when she walk away. Here we go, been down this road, they already know. When we go on tour, I'll take you anywhere you wanna go. People talk about us like they understand just what this is. I just wanna give you all you want and not the double it. They don't say I'm way too young, maybe I'm just ignorant. I won't find nobody like you on some real shit. Spend a couple hours on the phone. Hey, I don't wanna let you go. I'll be all about you, babe. I'll be all about you, babe. Saying so unless you don't know, they won't find what we got and that gon' drive me crazy. No need to rush, I'm a
Listen to me, God's people, get out before it gets hot.
Get out.
If you can't take the heat, you better get out of this kitchen right now. Because I'm sick and tired of full-out war going on. God's people, bunch of filthy sodomite perverts. And if you don't like it, get out of here. Let me tell you something. I'm sick of it, and I'm not going to back down. And I'm sick of people not backing me up on this. And you know what? You are insane. If you're not going to back us up, let me tell you something. God's people, you are insane. I don't want to hang around with a bunch of fat hacks. You are insane. And a bunch of queer babes and a bunch of effeminates. Get out. I don't love God. I read the Bible. I'm just a brainwashed fool. Let me tell you something. Can't think for myself. God's people, they're sodomites. They're gone. That's what the Bible calls them. Gone. God's people, gone. I'm just a brainwashed fool. I'm sick of it.
Coming for you. Why are you looking around the room? I said I'm coming for you. No, don't look for Jesus. I'm not coming for Jesus. I'm not coming for Yahweh anymore. I'm not coming for the Holy Ghost.
You kind of caught
me off guard.
Now, thank you, Lord. Very simple. It takes a lot of money to do what I do.
Guys, it takes a lot of money to do what I do.
Well, for example, that's really none of
That's why you got to put that money in the plate.
Let me give you another example.
What happens is you put that money in the plate.
And I prayed about it, and
right?
I thought...
I go down to the private jet store. I'm like, is that a G7?
And I might add another
A G7? I didn't even know they made G7s. Did y'all even know they made G7s? And then I said, what's the deal? I got all the money here that people have been putting in the plate. What do you say? And he goes, this is the price.
Very well.
And I go, praise Myron, hallelujah. He made that. He made that airplane so cheap for me.
The blessing
I just
of
couldn't help
Abraham.
it. We had to buy it.
Abraham.
He just made it so cheap for me. What are you supposed to do? Were we supposed to fly coach? What are we supposed to do? Say no thank you? Let's call Delta? The fuck up out of here. Look, y'all, we had to buy the private jet. That's what you got to do when you're a man of the cloth.
Those are the demons. And I understand them, and I love them with all my heart. If you go into the old covenant, and it's full of meanness. It's full of meanness. Full of hell on earth. He made that airplane so cheap for me.
Like I said, he made that airplane so cheap for me.
Face to face, personally. Just the same as Jesus is very real devil. Rulers of the darkness of this world. God bless, Father bless. But it's a biblical thing. It's a spiritual thing.
It's a spiritual thing. It doesn't have anything to do with people. Those are the demons.
And wonders. It's full of unseen things. Jesus, people. I love people. Dragging some woman down an aisle.
Oh,
it made me
Kenneth
so mad.
Copeland getting kinky.
We wrestle not.
We wrestle not,
People.
With
and
women.
I have a lot of natural gas.
Kung Fu Rainbow Laser Force! We're reclaiming the rainbow!
Kung Fu Rainbow Laser Force, the upper middle class superhero team that protects your innocence any way they can. They are Tallulah, Sebastian Caden, Zoe, Quota, and Dirk.
We don't tolerate difference.
Nah.
We're heterosexual overdance! Yeah!
Fighting evil in multicolored skin, tight cut off suspended. How? I'm happy to wait.
I don't even need to masturbate!
I dare off on the face of justice. Sex is bad.
And violence is good!
Gonna save the neighborhood from sex. From sex.
Kung Fu Rainbow Laser Force!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hold on, y'all. We gotta make sure we get our new one in here that we're debuting this week.
You see, sometimes we think we need all this fancy knowledge to grow as a human.
All this fancy book
But I got
learning.
news for you. All you have to do is apply one concept and put it to
One
work.
concept.
That doubt is a virtue.
Woo! I said doubt is a virtue.
Touch your neighbors and say it's time to doubt.
Touch your neighbor in all the right
Here's a
places.
new kind of faith. It's not the kind of faith of wishful thinking of the heart,
No more wishful
or helps you
thinking of
deny
it.
reality, or only works
not
seldomly. It's the kind of faith that's reliable, repeatable. It's the kind of faith that goes beyond all religions, all biases, embraces doubt. It's open to change. It's the kind of faith where you know when it's been misplaced. It's the kind of faith that works. You can make sense of it. You can explain it. It's the kind of faith that you can see, touch, feel, and hear. It's the kind of faith that really does heal the sick. We put our trust, we put our hope, we put our confidence in things that are observable, measurable, repeatable, and most importantly, falsifiable. Let's join together and have a faith that spits in the face of gullibility. You have heard it said that faith has an objective. Well, what has your faith done for you lately? What has your faith done for society lately?
Theocracy.
Stephen's kind of faith has been around for thousands of years. But it was science that cured smallpox, measles, polio, and infection. Stephen doesn't want his faith to be held hostage to outcomes. But I say outcomes and results matter. Stephen said that with God in your presence, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't heal. There's nothing you can't restore. But we all know that's not true.
That ain't true.
You can't fly. You
That ain't
can't
true.
walk on water.
That ain't true.
You can't raise the dead.
That ain't true.
Let's be humble. Let's be honest. Let's stop with the hoping and start with the reasoning. Say no to astrology on Monday. No to crystals on Tuesday. No to chakras on Wednesday. No to the vacuum salesman on Thursday. No to homeopathy on Friday. No to faith healing. And yes to medical healing. And on Sunday, I want a faith that doesn't need a holy book or a pastor or a priest or a rabbi or an imam to know it's not okay to harm others.
Live from Sacred Death Studios in Los Santos, San Andreas. Welcome everyone to Late Night Counter-Apologetics. And now, please welcome your host. He is the wise man of the Sacred Death Motorcycle Club. He is the sexiest man in all of word wrestling entertainment. He is the most entertaining man in the history of evolutionary biology. He is the virtual visionary, Mr. Dual PhD himself. Please give it up for the architect of the atheist apocalypse, the only man to have his vestments blessed by Pine Creek, the most high apostle of the cult of the Flying Man. He is none other than the Outlaw Prince, the one and only Jesus who can save us, Dr. Heartbreak J, Pocket Locker, BUNDY! I think I'm cute, I know I'm sexy, I've got the look that drives the girls while I got the moves that really move them. I send chills up and down their spines. I'm just a sexy boy. Are y'all ready to go tonight? Are y'all ready for the Atheist Crew Book Club? It is time to set aside how religions are maintained, dominated, or explained, and talk about how they end. I make them hot. I make them shiver, things get weak. Whenever I'm around, they see me walk, they hear me talk. I make them feel like their God ain't real, cause I'm a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just the US champ, US champ. I'm not a fucking chump, let's go! Eat your heart out, girls. Hands off the merchandise. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm I'm not your boy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. Welcome everybody to another edition of that late night Counter-Apologetics. I am your host, aka I am Dr. J. Bundy, aka Pocket Locker, aka the host with the most from the East Coast, aka the United States champion of word wrestling entertainment. When it comes to the word wrestling, step right up. There are two hits. Jay hits you, you hit the floor. For those of you that are not familiar with what goes on behind the scenes, there are two more motherfucking hits. The ref hits the mat 3 times, and the man in the back hits my goddamn music. Your winner and still the United States champion of word wrestling entertainment. Why? Because they ain't fucking with me. Now, folks, as you know, as always, I am in airplane mode. And if you don't know what airplane mode means, it means you do not walk. You do not hop, skip, or jump. You grab yourself a private jet. You crowbar into that shit. You smash your shit in that way. You come up with some sort of complex scheme, pretend you're the pilot, kick off the pilot, throw on your own pilot, kick off the bum, and you PJ your way over to itsairplanemode.com, where you pick up my cousin OG Roddy's latest music. The album comes out on my birthday because we're family, of course it fucking does. And you can pick it up on August 12th. This one is called Stunt 102. It's the motherfucking first song on the record. Catch a vibe. Oh, but Jay, I thought you were going to talk about the book. I thought we were going to talk about January 6th. What about the apologetics? I was hoping we could talk about the scripture or the theology or what about philosophy? Did you want to know? Fuck is wrong with y'all? Sunday nights, the goddamn atheist church. We don't want to talk about none of that shit. Do you go to your boring ass theist church and just jump straight into the program? No, you motherfucking don't. You meet your friends in the parking lot and you talk about your weeks, and then you mosey your way on in, and then you sit there and you listen to your little worship band, and then you talk and you get caught up on what's going on and you're talking to your buddies, and then about like an hour into that bitch you get into the worship program. I mean the ministry of the blase blah and whatever the fuck the pastor wants to say today that nobody cares about. So sit your ass back. Relax. Don't rush me on my own show. I will ban you. I'm blowing up all over the internet. We will not miss you. Okay? So don't get banned. A better idea is sit back and catch a motherfucking vibe.
Ready for takeoff?
Whoa. Working hard on my stump.
What's the problem?
I ain't had shit to show, being modest. Now it's grams of the wax for my conscience. Brown James in LA, you're on college. I've been jumping on them planes like a hobby. Still moving with the pack like my partners. Put the John on them jets cause you wildin'. Put the bowl is a party on the island.
Moment of silence.
So good, get back to the topic. Grew up, it was me and Flocka. Grandma's and Big T, this my mama. I ain't even for the pain when my pops flipped. Knew his name, that's it, never bothered. Mom said, you the man, son, you got this. Ever since I found a way to go and pop shit. Hold up, blaze through a whole zip. Took a seat at the table of my first flip. Days in red roof with my first whip. Spent the money with the gang, never post pics. Seen a change in the game, had to coach it. Never let them take my wangs in the mold, bitch. Ever made in a month, nigga. Used to serve him at the minute just to front, nigga. Goddamn.
Had to grow up quick, I made my own rules. Had my first child, got it jumping with mules. It can't really hang with nobody who losing. I thought by now that you would go and get it, but I could hardly see niggas this distant. Know you get cropped if you not in the picture. And I made that tag and went got a bag. Shots to the Henny and OG prescriptions, put rebel shit on the map. Took a leap from where I started at. Started ballin' now, Chris Paul and Cats. Got them steady calling for the mold, but I'm on a roll, gotta call him back. And that's all fact.
All right. We appreciate that. Lovely.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. All carry-on items should now be stowed securely, either in an overhead bin.
Before we get into our program,
all aisles, exits, and
we're going to have ourselves a little communion.
All electronic devices should now be turned off and stowed, as they may interfere with the aircraft's navigational and communication systems. Once airborne, we'll let you know when you may.
Now, Theist, pay attention. Listen. What I don't like about this atheist versus theist stuff is that you guys keep sowing these seeds of division, right? Like, not everything has to be divisive. We can agree on things. We can find some common ground, okay? Should we science or not science? We should science. Should we make fucking sense or not make fucking sense? We should make fucking sense. See, we all agree about these things. Now, check this one out, right? Here's the thing. When it comes to communion, should we have alcohol in our glasses like some grown-ass adults? Or should we put some motherfucking grape juice up in that bitch? Obviously, we should put some alcohol in it. When we say we breaking bread, should we snap off the little corner of the saltine and pass it around? Or should we break bread and smoke some real weed like some motherfucking grown-ass people? So don't come bitching about, oh, you're disrespecting our communion and you guys can't do it that way and you're not getting it. No, we don't want to hear none of that. Lena's coming back. She wants to have some grown-ass folks communion. So just take the good ideas from us, implement them into your shit, make your shit less bullshit, say thanks for the great idea, atheist, and we'll be like, you're motherfucking welcome. Now, hopefully you got some real-ass alcohol in your glass. Please raise your glasses and hold on to your asses. Through him, with him, in the unity of the flying man. All glory and honor is yours who flight for our sins forever and ever. You may drink. Let me put my vestments on. All right, folks, that was the communion hymn. What we offer up now is the communion song. The communion hymn is a time for you to celebrate the initiation of the communion rite. The communion hymn is for you to vibe and feel the spirit of doubt as you enjoy your communion. It's the MJ interlude. It's off the motherfucking LaGuardia, and it's available at DJPlaneMode.com. Let's go!
In the afternoon, I lay with her. In the evening, I'ma stay with her. Hi, I'm in love. I ain't even tripping, but them say she a drug, cause she hear everything for me. In the morning, hit her faithfully. At least a dub when we touch. No one falling in love. I ain't even tripping, cause she the one I could trust. Even bring her out on dates with me. See my mama new place with me. She hold me down on the days when I ain't feeling too up. I ain't even tripping, cause she with me in the clutch.
AR had a little whiskey, I'm glad to hear it. Puff, puff, puff. Oh, Lena with the airplane bomb.
morning I might lay with you. In the afternoon I play with you. But I know I'm never tripping. The signs say I'm in love. Mary Jane is different cause she ain't even a drug. She be there every day for me. She my sweet Mary Jane shorty. I even took her on a plane, but never enough. Some say I'm tripping, she turned me into the plug. She be there dealing way with me. She be there to take the pain from me. The homie said that I'm tripping.
Yes,
but all
Lena.
I do is get
Yes,
drunk.
yes, yes.
Smoking on the wax, they thinking I'm off the drugs.
Always,
I go
always.
all out the way for you.
I smoke.
In the morning I might lay with you. In the afternoon I stay cause she know that I'm in love. I ain't even tripping cause she the one I could trust. She go running every day with me.
I'ma actually have to roll.
Take the kids out
I'm gonna need to
play
roll
with me.
soon. I'm out of joints.
They say I'm tripping, I ain't slipping cause she ain't even a drug. Niggas sipping lean, ain't worried what's in your cup. In the morning I might play with ya. Take a long walk.
Yeah, it's easy to say stupid shit like that.
Sweet Mary Jane, and she the one I
I haven't seen it either.
Niggas sipping lean, but me I'm smoking a dub. I go all out the way
I need to get into it
Take
actually.
some time out my day for you. I even took her on a plane, but never
This January 6th has me caught up because there's so much footage to get through.
In the afternoon I play
But we gonna get to it.
But I know I'm never tripping cause hi, I'm in love. Mary Jane is different cause she ain't even a drug. Yeah.
Matter of fact, what I'm thinking is, I think we said that this coming Sunday on Hot Program, we're gonna do the thing with Jason Torn. But if that doesn't work out, and if it does, then the following Sunday, maybe we'll have Lena be our guest on Hot Program. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we should hit her now so we have video proof that she knew who we were before she moved out to Hollywood. Oh, y'all, it's Lena, the big celebrity from the YouTube comment section. Where can we see Lena? Nah, you can't. You can't. You just got to know one of her friends, and then, you know, if you're lucky, she'll come through the chat and, like, make a comment, say hi to everybody, and everybody just loves it. Yeah, yeah. Well, why is she such a celebrity then? Oh, every once in a while, she might just ask a question or make a comment about, like, what's actually going on, and it'll just be like, everybody's head just goes, it's called a Lena moment. You just been leaning like, and your shit'll be all fucked up. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, she blew off of that. Yeah, she blew off up of that. Yeah, she got a whole little entrance music from Jamie Foxx and all this shit, man. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, she was cool back then. Yeah, she used to just come through. She big time now. She too busy for us. It's all good, though. So I love Lena, do you? We fans. We your ride or dies. We here for you. We about it. All right, y'all, let's talk about how religion dies, which I hope he was just going to say soon, the end, right? Wouldn't it be great if Christopher Hitchens was like, Chapter 12, a coda, how religions end, swiftly on August 1st, 2022. We'd be like, yeah, yes, it's tomorrow. Oh, shit. Y'all, peace, I'm going to bed, right? Like, we be excited in the motherfucker. I have a feeling that's not the thing, though. Hang on a sec. James Apperson, are you here? Is James alive? Is James alive?
Oh, yeah, I'm here, man.
Oh, damn.
What happened? Yeah.
Damn, Theist. There was hope there for a second. I thought maybe he had passed on us. But nope, James Apperson's still here. Y'all are still fucked. All right, let's get into this, how religions end.
Chapter 12, a coda. How religions end.
Can you hear him okay, James?
It can be equally useful
Great.
and instructive to take a glimpse at the closing of religions or religious movements. The Millerites, for example, are no more, and we shall not hear again, in any but the most vestigial and nostalgic way, of Pan or Osiris or any of the thousands of gods who once held people in utter thrall. But I have to confess to a slight sympathy that I have tried and failed to repress for Sabbatai Zevi, the most imposing of the false messiahs. In the mid-17th century, he galvanized whole Jewish communities across the Mediterranean and the Levant, and as far afield as Poland, Hamburg, and even Amsterdam, repudiator of Spinoza, with his claim to be the chosen one who would lead the exiles back to the Holy Land and begin the era of universal peace. His key to revelation was the study of the Kabbalah, more recently revived in fashion,
by a showbiz woman bizarrely known as Madonna, and his arrival was greeted by hysterical Jewish congregations from his home base in Smyrna to Salonika, Constantinople, and Aleppo. The rabbis of Jerusalem, having been inconvenienced by premature messianic...
Hang on, y'all. I just wanted to say, if there's anybody in the chat who doesn't know who Madonna is, your young ass can definitely go fuck yourself. Go all the way fuck yourself, okay? I'm not even going to tell you. I ain't even going to tell you. Because the fact that you don't know means you're young, dumb, you don't know shit about the world, and we all are jealous, so go fuck yourself.
And it claims before were more skeptical. By the use of Kabbalistic conjury that made his own name the equivalent of Moshe, or Messiah, when unscrambled from a Hebrew anagram, he may have persuaded himself, and certainly persuaded others, that he was the expected one. As one of his disciples phrased it, the prophet Nathan prophesied, and Sabbatai Zevi preached, that whoever did not mend his ways would not behold the comforting of Zion and Jerusalem, and that they would be condemned to shame and to everlasting contempt. And there was a repentance, the like of which has never been seen, since the world was created, and unto this day. This was no crude Millerite panic. Scholars and learned men debated the question passionately and in writing, and as a consequence we have a very good record of events. All the elements of a true and a false prophecy were present. Sabbatai's devotees pointed to his equivalent of John the Baptist, a charismatic rabbi called Nathan of Gaza. Sabbatai's enemies described him as an epileptic and a heretic, and accused him of violating the law. They in turn were stoned by Sabbatai's partisans. Convocations and congregations raged together and raged against each other. On a voyage to announce himself in Constantinople, Sabbatai's ship was storm-tossed, yet he rebuked the waters, and when incarcerated by the Turks, his prison was illuminated with holy fires and sweet scents, or not, according to many discrepant accounts. Echoing a very harsh Christian dispute, the supporters of Rabbi Nathan and Sabbatai maintained that without faith, knowledge of the Torah and the performance of good works would be unavailing. Their opponents asserted that the Torah and good works were the main thing. So complete in every respect was the drama that even the stubbornly anti-Sabbatai rabbis in Jerusalem at one point asked to be told if any verifiable miracles or signs had been attached to the claimant who was intoxicating the Jews with joy. Men and women sold all that they had and prepared to follow him to the promised land. The Ottoman imperial authorities had a good deal of experience in dealing with civil unrest among confessional minorities at the time. They were just in the process of wresting Crete from the Venetians, and behaved with much...
You know, I think this kind of thing that's coming up in the chat with Lena is the right direction to go. And it's really relevant to this discussion of how religions end, because I think for a lot of people, the more we do fill in that evolution of religions, the sort of evolutionary tree and phylogeny of faith, let's call it that, the phylogeny of faith, y'all. Once we figure that out, it really does help provide evidence of the case that religions are man-made, right? It's like, yeah, these people came up with this stuff, and then these other people started using these symbols right here, right? Check it, right? Here's where your shit comes in. Your shit's right here. See, look at this symbol right here and this ritual. Yeah, these people started doing that shit, right? And they got it from these people, right? Check it. No, look, we got the pictures of them. We got they left the little ashes and the little paintings and whatnot. Yeah. It's all good, man. It's cool. It's going to be okay. You're going to be all right. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. Don't worry about it. You know, it ain't going to work for everybody, but I think it really will help people sort of realize that. And most people already know that, right? Again, we say they're getting ever nearer and nearer to the truth because they already don't believe in all religions except the one, right? So there's only really one extra religion we need them to not believe in.
Much more circumspection than the Romans are supposed to have done. They understood that if Sabbatai was to claim kingdom over all kings, let alone to claim a large tract of their province in Palestine, then he was a secular challenger as well as a religious one. But when he arrived in Constantinople, all they did was lock him up. The ulema, or Muslim religious authority, was likewise sagacious. They counselled against the execution of this turbulent subject, lest his enthused believers make a new religion. The script was almost complete when a former disciple of Sabbatai's, one Nehemiah Cohen, came to the Grand Vizier's headquarters in Edirne and denounced his former master as a practitioner of immorality and heresy. Summoned to the Vizier's palace and allowed to make his way from prison with a procession of hymn-singing supporters, the Messiah was very bluntly asked if he would agree to a trial by ordeal. The archers of the court would use him as a target, and if heaven deflected the arrows, he would be adjudged genuine. Should he refuse, he would be impaled. If he wished to decline the choice altogether, he could affirm himself to be a true Muslim and be allowed to live. Sabbatai Zevi did what almost any ordinary mammal would have done, made the standard profession of belief in the one God and his messenger, and was awarded a sinecure. He was later deported to an almost Judenrein part of the empire on the
I want to repeat this for people who don't understand. There are very few ideas I'm willing to die for, and that has absolutely nothing to do with how true they are. And this is something that I can't literally believe I have to say on the internet as the 35-year-old man in 2022. But I swear to y'all, I saw just the other day a clip of Pine Creek talking to somebody, and as soon as Pine Creek tried to fly him in, this motherfucker went straight to, well, would they die for that? And I was just like, oh, he didn't just do that, did he? He didn't really just say that, did he? Did he really just say that? Like, bruh, no. And what the fuck does that have to do with absolutely anything? I feel like this is a Gin and Truth movement. How much someone is willing to die for something has nothing to do with how true it is, and everything else is everything else. Right? Like, it's just the most ridiculous shit I ever heard. Like I said, as an evolutionary biologist, I definitely believe we evolved from common ancestry with other primates. If you put a gun to my head, would I tell you I don't believe that? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you put a gun in my head, I'll tell you my mother's a fucking whore. I don't believe it's true for a second, but I'm not willing to die for my belief that she's not. Right? So I just want to put that out there for all the special ones listening, the very, very special ones that really, really believe that the sincerity of the hoo-has and the fact that they sacrifice for the whatevers, like it just, I'm going to tell you something that I genuinely felt as a Christian you may feel is true, so take it with you and be counseled in the fact that you are not alone in this feeling. I genuinely wish it fucking mattered, but it doesn't. All right, here we go.
Albanian-Montenegrin border, and there expired, supposedly on Yom Kippur, 1676, at the precise hour of evening prayer when Moses is said to have breathed his last. His grave, much sought,
sitting on some bullshit, YouTube punk. You already know what the time is.
His distraught followers immediately divided into several factions. There were those who refused to believe in his conversion or apostasy. There were those who argued that he had only become a Muslim in order to be an even greater Messiah. There were those who felt that he had only adopted a disguise. And of course there were those who claimed that he had risen into the heavens. His true disciples eventually adopted the doctrine of occultation, which, it may not surprise you to learn, involves the belief that the Messiah, invisible to us, has not died at all, but awaits the moment when humanity will be ready for his magnificent return. Occultation is also the term employed by pious Shia to describe the present and long-standing condition of the 12th Imam or Mahdi, a child of 5 who apparently vanished from human view in the year 873. So the Sabbatai Zevi religion came to an end and survives only in the tiny syncretic sect known in Turkey as the Donme, which conceals a Jewish loyalty within an outward Islamic observance. But had its founder been put to death, we should be hearing of it still, and of the elaborate mutual excommunications, stonings, and schisms that its followers would subsequently have engaged in. The nearest approximation in our own day is the Hasidic sect known as Chabad, the Lubavitcher movement once led, and according to some still led, by Menachem Schneerson. This man's death in Brooklyn in 1994 was confidently expected to produce an age of redemption, which it so far has not. The United States Congress had already established an official day in Schneerson's honor in 1983. Just as there are still Jewish sects who maintain that the Nazi final solution was a punishment for living in exile from Jerusalem, so there are those who preserve the ghetto policy which maintained a watcher at the gates, whose job it was to alert the others if the Messiah arrived unexpectedly. It's steady work, as one of these watchmen is supposed, rather defensively, to have said. Surveying the not quite and might have been religions, one could experience a slight feeling of pathos, were it not for the constant din of other sermonizers, all of them claiming that it is their Messiah, and not anybody else's, who is to be awaited with servility and awe.
I genuinely don't know if you guys know this, but I spoke to Christopher Hitchens before he wrote this book, and I was like, look, when I get to chapter whatever that was, I'm going to be in the middle of this January 6th committee coverage, and the shit is long as hell. So if you could just give us some kind of like mini chapter that night, I would really appreciate it. And he was like, no problem, Jay, I got you. And I was like, all right, boss, man, appreciate you. So we're going to keep it moving. We're going to get to our January 6th committee hearing, day 3. So let's go ahead and see what they talking about. Let me take a look here. We've got PBS, Time, the Associated Press. Let me see. I'm rocking with PBS. I'm rocking with public broadcasting, y'all. Let's see what's up with this restream. I could share this screen, that one, there. Oh, hang on, let me add it here. That one.
The president was told that again and again.
And Lisa, just quickly, despite that, we know the vast majority of Republican members of the House have been publicly opposed to these hearings. They question the legitimacy of this committee. So my question is, how much of this is going to affect their thinking?
I do not see these hearings as affecting the majority of House Republicans at this point. I do think behind the scenes, of course, there are a lot of conversations that perhaps could have when they get on the campaign trail. I'm going to be interested to see if we hear as much about a stolen election, and maybe instead we hear more about Nancy Pelosi, other things that they think register with their base. I wonder, and this is sort of the idea the committee has, they want to dial down, they want to end this talk of a stolen election, and I'm eager to hear if it does in fact affect how Republicans speak on the campaign trail.
And Amna Nawaz at the White House, I'm going to give you the last word as we think about what we've been hearing for the last few hours. You told us that the White House is trying to be very careful in how they comment on what...
Guys, I'm going full Jay Bundy experience on you. I am... let me see here. Let me move this camera out the way. And this one, I guess. I'm analyzing the composition, how they do what they do. Like I told y'all, y'all know the woman on the left. I don't even know her name, but I just think she's wonderful. She's a fantastic broadcaster. She's always holding it down. She's like the Michael Cole, right? If y'all know, I'm a big wrestling fan. When you're watching them commentators, they got everything going in their ear, and everybody's giving them the instructions, and they got to pay attention to everybody that's talking to them and get the sponsors in and out and get in and out of the guest, and it's a lot going on. Then also we got the composition of the shot. This is a beautiful shot, right? They've gone with this gray, kind of like a darkened gray shot of the Capitol, giving them like that gray background for this white text, which white text normally looks awful if it's too high contrast, but this is really nice. The big squares in the middle here. This is just it's a really professional thing. It's public broadcasting, but it's what I'm into. It's what my dad actually does on a local level in New Jersey. So I'm used to sort of seeing these broadcasts and figuring out what's up. And just that's how my wheels were turning. I wanted to kind of just, I don't know, mention it to y'all. Let's go.
What is coming forward from this committee?
That's right, Judy, or if they comment at all. I think we're unlikely to get any unsolicited comment from the president on this. As I mentioned,
with the stingers, lower
press
thirds.
at 3 o'clock this afternoon. There will likely be questions there. But two big things we've noticed as we watch the second day of hearings unfold.
Ones we have in Restream,
one, I think if you look at
shit.
the mountain of comments made there by Attorney General Bill Barr, then Attorney General Bill Barr, in those interviews, I noted down some of the words he used in referring to those continued claims of voter fraud and the allegations being made by then President Trump. He said it was BS. He called it crazy. He said he was detached from reality. He said he was frustrated the president wasn't listening to him and resigned in part because of the president's refusal to listen to him. Out of curiosity, he went back and read his resignation letter from December of that year. And in the
she is, I like her. This is great broadcasting. You got to give me some juicy deets. This is her time to shine as an investigative journalism. And she gives us a juicy bit, y'all. Y'all got to appreciate this woman. This is the type of nerd I was when I was in politics. I was always, and this is a way to get in. You want to get ahead in life? Read these type of details, break them down for people. One, what happens is people know you're sharp and you're on top of your shit and you can do your fucking homework and your research. Number two, people just love having you in the office because you always had the best stories, right? And this bitch is ready for her moment. You got to remember, this is a career moment for people like this. It's a sad event, but this is their time to shine. It's January 6th. They're on PBS, NewsHour Live, prime time. Let's go. She's like, I read the resignation letter. Oh, did you? Well, let me tell you what you get for that, ho. All of my attention. Let's go.
First couple of lines, he himself says, I'm also noting here that the investigations by the Department of Justice into those allegations of voter fraud will continue. So it does actually raise some questions, I think, about what we're hearing from some of the testimony and the interview clips being shared by the committee here, and maybe some of the fuller conversations being had behind the scenes with those closest to then President Trump. The other thing I'll note is to pick up on a point made earlier about threats to election officials. As we've seen, there's been a surge in those since the 2020 election. And it takes me back to polls just earlier this year in late March conducted by Pew and others who asked local and state election officials, what have you been facing? And the numbers are alarming in terms of how many have been facing firsthand threats at the local level. More than a third said that they knew someone who had left their job specifically because of threats. And when they were asked what was behind those threats, what was fueling those threats, they answered unequivocally, it was this big lie. This idea that the election was somehow illegitimate and that there was voter fraud rampant in the election. So it speaks to, I think, the potency of that lie this committee is now looking into and seeing how it led up to the events on January 6th. Judy?
And joining me now to discuss today's events is Ben Ginsburg, who was one of this morning's witnesses.
Smooth as fuck.
He's a longtime Republican elections attorney
who
has worked with the Republican National Committee, or RNC, and multiple presidential campaigns. And Cynthia Miller Idris, who runs the Polarization and Extremism Research and Innovation Lab at American University. Welcome to the NewsHour to both of you.
Tell my students this shit all the time. Do not bury the lead. I tell them, you want to know how it's done? Pay attention to mainstream broadcasts, mainstream newspapers. Why? They're showing you how people who have to appeal to the broadest audience and the biggest spotlight with the most amount of eyes on their work, do it. They've been doing this for a long time. They're very good at it. The things they do may seem dry, or why not spice it up? Why? No. They know how to make the most use of every shot, every moment. This is broadcasting school 101. Those of you that are doing the YouTube thing and you got your channel and you think this is not for you, pay the fuck attention.
I should say welcome back. I want to ask you both, what stood out for you at these 2 hours of testimony and presentation by the committee? Cynthia Miller Idris.
Well, I think it was really clear, again, as it was on Thursday, that the election fraud claims were baseless, that this was massive disinformation, and that we are going to move forward with a very common narrative from many, many witnesses that is the case. So I think what really stands out is that is absolutely the case, and that the American public should feel confident in that bipartisan set of witnesses deciding that.
And Ben Ginsberg, you were there. You testified from your own experience. Why did you want to be there today?
Because this is so important. What today's testimony brought out was that people in Donald Trump's campaign, his most trusted campaign workers, told him the charges of fraud and rigged election was not correct, that they couldn't prove that there wasn't evidence. And so a president of the United States sort of ripping the fabric of what holds our country and the election system together is tremendously important to get out that story.
And at one point in the question and answer period, you were asked, about the fact that you've worked with campaigns that have challenged aspects of election results, but that this one was taken to a different level.
It was taken to a different level. When folks like me get called in to do elections, it's because the elections really are close. This election was not really close.
The Witness Protection
2000
Program
in Florida was 537 votes. That's close. Donald Trump's...
Taco, I'm going to say no, but only because if he could have, he already would have.
Most narrow margin in all of the key states was over 10,000 votes. You don't make up that many votes in any recount. And so now the country continues to go through the trauma of basically the fake allegations of our elections being rigged. That comes at a cost to the country.
Cynthia Miller,
All right,
Idris, you
folks,
talked about
we're going to move on. We're going to get back into the hearing. I just wanted to give them their propers, give them a little bit of time. Sorry, I won't be listening to all the people. But yeah, these people have these moments, and they're trusted with these broadcasts for a reason, and I really do admire their work. All right, let's get back to another person who I really admire, the chairman.
The chair announces the committee's approval to release the deposition material represented during today's hearing. Good afternoon. This is almost no idea more un-American than the notion that any one person could choose the American president. No idea more un-American. I agree with that, which is unusual because former Vice President Mike Pence and I don't agree on much. These are his words, spoken a few months ago about Donald Trump's attempt to pressure the former vice president, pressure him into going along with an unlawful and unconstitutional scheme to overturn the 2020 election and give Donald Trump a second term in office. Today,
I tried to mute it and everything. I was like, I think I'm being slick. I'm muting it before I log back in. Sorry about that, guys. I had to punch back into this. It's all air. The air's muted. I don't know what's up with that. Let's see.
The Select Committee is going to reveal the details.
All right, it's good. Let's get rid of this chat overlay so that we can have a little bit more space here. All right, now it's like frozen over here. All right, looks like it's okay. Yeah, that looks fine. All right. James, you still with us? He might pop back in. All right, we'll see what's up.
Of that pressure campaign. But what does the Vice President of the United States even have to do with a presidential election? The Constitution says that the Vice President of the United States oversees the process of counting the Electoral College votes.
Oh, wait, hang on a sec, guys. My screen's frozen. Let me see what's going on with this. I think it's my restream froze. It's a real pain in the ass. Sorry about that. Bear with me for a sec. Yeah, I have a browser that froze back here. It'll eventually go away, and I'll deal with it. Sorry about that. All right, close the program. There we go. Close it. Go ahead. Wasn't a fan of Mike Pence, but I do have to give him credit for not buying into the Trumpocracy. Yes. I feel the same way. I had admiration for Mike Pence that day. That's not an expression I say often, but it's true about January 6th, if for no other reason than him not going along with Trump. Guys, I'll be right back. The stream is acting weird. I'm gonna change a couple of settings real quick and come back. So give me 1 minute. I apologize. I'll be